You will not believe these strange but true tales
from the Red River Gorge.
Coming up right now.
Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who can use his own earwax to put on his blisters as moleskin in the wild. Carl Mandrioli. He just never ceases to amaze us. There he is.
You never cease to gross us out. So with me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man who once worked for a circus flying out of a cannon. Then his career really took off.
That was horrible, but I would jump. I would do the cannon thing. I would do that. That sounds fun.
I believe you.
Would you do it? I think you're scared.
Maybe that'll be an amazing race event for the future season that we're on.
Highly unlikely, but I'd be game.
You never know. They'll shoot you into a net or something. I don't know.
Makes no sense.
Speaking of circuses, though, so there was a bit of a circus trip that I went on recently from the Red River Gorge.
Let's chat about that.
We're going to chat about, okay, so here's the thing, is I wasn't planning to do an episode on this, and then I was invited onto the backpacking podcast where we were going to talk about this very trip. Right. And so I had a great time on their show, but we talked about the trip like a little bit, but not really. We didn't really dig in, to be honest. So,
you went like off on tangents or what? Just talked about random stuff?
I mean, that's kind of their thing. Like, that's kind of what makes them so lovable is they go off on these random tangents and they're like, okay, we got to save the last 10 minutes of the show to talk about the poop stories, which like sort of related. So that's cool. But I just felt like there's a lot of things like left on the table and worth talking about. And I feel like they're strange, but true. So
let's dive in.
That's the backstory.
I'm excited for this. Poop stories too? Do I get to hear about those?
I can rehash like I don't know how much
we summarize it. Summarize it quick later on if you want.
Okay.
We'll see how you
feel. Okay, for sure. So I want to say one quick thing though about before I get into this. One thing that I really appreciated was John Kelly from the Backpacking Podcast. He made a point of wanting to go on this trip, and he had, I think it was like a pinched nerve or something the week of the trip. And so he couldn't like hold his pack very well, or just like he couldn't turn his neck. It was just very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Derek could probably call it shoulder problems if we're being honest, but either way, would you? Yeah. If you can't hold your pack in your shoulders.
I've had that problem when you like couldn't turn his neck, right?
Yeah. But have you gone backpacking when that was happening?
I wouldn't. I don't know if that was his smartest choice, but what happened?
Correct. But I think most people would bail on that type of trip, but he did not. He's like, I want to go backpacking with all these awesome folks. And so he came up with a plan on his own where he's like, I'm going to like basically meet you at the camps and I'm going to drive around in between to kind of make it happen. And so he had to wait for hours at each of the camps just so he could go like pseudo backpacking with us. So I really appreciated that.
Wow. That is commitment right there.
Yeah. I mean, as somebody who frequently, bails on trips, Derek, like that's like next level stuff from your perspective, right?
I wouldn't know. I will say though, he must think you're phenomenal if he's willing to do that.
It's not for me. Like there's a whole group of awesome folks.
You're a big deal. I mean, look at you. You shave, guys. I don't know if you can see this on the YouTube channel. Carl shaved, and he looks like a good 5 hours younger or so.
5 hours younger.
Maybe. Right?
Maybe.
Ish.
Yeah. I did shave, and yeah, you're pretty excited about that.
I am. So rare.
You keep on talking.
So rare to see your whole face. Well, you rarely see your whole face, so I just forgot, what you look like.
Oh my gosh.
Well, good for John.
Good for him. So I just shout out to him. All right, Bible verse of the episode: where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Here's my question. Is it possible to have too many counselors?
Yes.
Yeah?
I think so.
Story?
Yeah. No, I don't have a good one. But I would say too many people in your ear can it's almost like counterproductive, right? Like if you have a few close, tight-knit people that you trust, yes. If you have like I don't know, the more people you throw into a situation like that, I feel like, are you going to get more confused? Is it going to be counterproductive? So
right.
Balance is a good thing in my experience.
Would you consider our trip story where we had so-called counselors discussing a reroute of a trip mid-trip to go up and over a ridge with
How
broken
did
back
I
guy.
know? How did I know you were going to bring up the mutiny trip? It's like I could
I'm just
foreshadow
asking your
that in
opinion.
my
Is that a
mind.
scenario where there's too many counselors?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. That's a good. I'm not going to fall into your trap. I know
So
what you're
it's
doing.
trap. I'm just
Trying to do
asking your opinion.
because if I'm the mutineer and then you're like, I know what you're doing.
I mean, I obviously
We all know
disagreed
what
with
you're
you.
doing.
I
We all know.
disagreed, but were you a counselor in that scenario? Is my question.
I should have been more of one. I think I tried to. I should have been more of a counselor for the pack weight back issue for the other gentleman.
Okay.
Before we made that decision about which direction we're going to go.
We
And I
had
did.
three loud
We did not.
voices, Derek being one of them, talking about a reroute in the middle of like this off trail section that hadn't been scouted or planned or whatever. And I mean, of the three guys, Derek was definitely the most experienced for sure, but I would consider none of you guys as counselors in that scenario.
Well, that's your take on that one. I don't know.
That's my opinion. I'm asking your opinion.
I think we both failed to I'll just say you and I and one other person, which I know who you know, we all failed to put the hammer down, and we should have, but we didn't.
The hammer down.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
well, whatever you want to call it, the boot, whatever. He should not have done it. He did it, but it was just like every step.
You're talking about the broken back guy still made the trip.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like just the concept of the counselors.
We should have counseled that situation. What are you talking about? That was a failure of counsels.
That was a different situation earlier.
Same trip.
What you're saying?
Yeah, like an hour before. Yeah. Correct.
All right.
So if you're fast forwarding to the trail, then I don't know. I think I should have been more of a. I don't know how to answer that. I guess I could have been more of a counselor. I guess I was trying to think of the easier way to get him.
We had a situation where we actually had legit
mess.
counselors that helped plan this trip, and I'll give you kind of the scenario there. I'm curious how you'd handle that. But
you told me that, yeah.
I want to give you a rundown of the folks. Okay, so we're just going to kind of work through this chronologically through the story and all the interesting things that happened. Like, how do you deal with this? What do you do? Okay. All right. So first scenario is I'm going to give you a rundown of people coming, not by name, but by how they're arriving.
How they're arriving.
Yeah. Okay. Or not coming at all. Okay. So we had, this doesn't really cover everything. I'm just going to go with like our final 14 people, so to speak. Okay.
How many people ended up going on the trip?
I'd have to count. I think it was like, it depends on what point of the trip you're talking about.
Over 14? Oh, I got you.
It was like, 12 to 14. But
Yikes.
So actually, so I'm going to give you the 14 people. This is not including my wife, Jessica, and I. So these are just a list of people going, not by name, but by their scenario. Okay. So here we go. Person number one, arrived late, met us at camp 1. Person number 2, met us at the different camps. Person number 3, canceled. Person number 4, arrived late, met us on the trail day 2. Person number 5, present for the whole thing. Person number 6, canceled. Person number 7 was forced to leave early. Person number 8 and his wife present the whole time. Person number, so that's 8 and 9. Person number 10 had to leave early. 11 and 12, husband and wife present the whole time. Another person canceled. One person said would maybe come, no showed, and then another person canceled. So how do you handle who's coming when, who's actually on the trip with that setup? Go.
Dude, you're coming in hot today.
Ooh, this is what happened. This is strange but true. I've never had a trip like this. So
why does it? I mean, you have some doozies. I mean, this is crazy. How many? I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4 cancels plus a couple of early leaves, right? And then a late day. A
couple early leaves, 1 late arrival. Somebody actually. Yeah, a couple late arrivals, and then actually 3 late arrivals. Technically,
I think that all you can really do is just be like, look, this is when we're going to be here. This is when we're leaving.
No. This is what you do if we could do it over again. I'm saying this is what you got to deal with. So how do you deal with this?
And you're getting these texts like, hey, I can't make it. Hey, I can't make it. This is like last minute. I'm canceling last minute.
Some were last minute cancellations. Like the ones that I said canceled were typically like within the week of, or there's a couple day before, like I'm getting on the plane kind of thing.
Yeah.
And some had some rough stuff. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that canceled. They had some like life circumstances that were legit. It was just, But when you couple that list with the fact that this was a point-to-point shuttle hike, there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
So,
And you had how many shuttles did you get? 1, 2? Probably 2.
well, like, how many vehicles did we take?
Yeah.
Oh, we shuttled ourselves, so it wasn't like we hired
Oh,
shuttles.
okay.
Yeah, good question.
What would I do on day 1 when I'm in that situation?
How would you organize this? Keep track, understand who's coming where they're supposed to be.
Sounds like about 5 people are there for the whole thing. Sounds about 5 people,
ish.
6?
6 or
Okay.
7. Yeah.
I think you just go, dude. I think you just go. And if people, I assume you gave people the itinerary beforehand of like where you were going.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you waited like a decent amount of time before you set off on the trail. Probably started late.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yep. Then I think you just go.
Okay.
People have to be somewhat responsible for themselves. I mean, that's pretty intense. The cancelers, they canceled.
Yeah.
What can you do? The people got there late day 2. That's on you. I think the people who had to leave early, okay, they got to leave early. They'll let them go. But the other people that stay, I mean, I think
you got to keep track of them. Like, wait, did they leave early or did they go to the bathroom and we're about to leave camp? Like, you have to keep track of everybody.
Like, they didn't come up to you and be like, "Hey, I got to peace out. This happened."
No. Yeah, of course. Like, they were. I mean, the folks that went are like highly responsible folks, but you can't. I didn't know all of them ahead of time, so you can't assume they're going to be that way, right?
When you say leave early, did they just like turn around and go back? What do they do?
Right. Yeah, hiked out.
Okay.
Correct.
So
for the most part,
I don't know. I think you just like have them. At that point, be like, hey, if you're gonna like leave early, just let me know so I don't like wait for you when I don't need to. But I think for the most part, you just got to be like, I'm just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going. You got to deal with what's in front of you in that situation. I think that's a lot.
Seems like people that you've never met before. You don't know their level of responsibility. You can't. I just don't think you can assume these things.
No way.
So
you can't. There's no way.
I'll tell you what I did. You tell me if you like it or not. So I printed out a list with all of these details about each of these people. And then when we finally made it to the trailhead, I had the list on a clipboard with a pen.
Went clipboard mode.
Yeah, I took official attendance. They had to say here and raise their hand.
I don't like that at all. That's
Why not?
Carl in the classroom. It makes them feel like they're probably 5 years old. You look ridiculous. I'm just gonna say that. Roll call, everybody. Roll call. Put your back down.
Let me ask you this. Is it more ridiculous that I'm taking a roll and I'm asking them to say here and raise their hand, or that only 2 or 3 people actually were able to follow directions and raise their hand and say here?
That's pretty funny. But the fact that you had so many people where you had to feel the need to bring a clipboard should tell you something in itself. I'm surprised you didn't cap the trip at like 10 or something.
So I capped. What did I do? I don't know how interesting this is, but I put it out at first, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna cap it at a certain number. I think I was planning on capping it, but then we didn't get a lot of people signing up initially. It was just kind of like, I don't know, 8 people signed up.
Perfect.
And then John Kelly advertised it on the backpacking podcast, and then that quickly doubled. And then some people brought like family members basically. And so that including myself. And so it just kind of ballooned the trip up essentially.
Huh. So, what's your clipboard threshold? Is it like 12 people? I got to bring a clipboard. Like, what's your threshold there? What are we talking about?
I think it was like 16 was like, well, it wasn't even just it wasn't the number. It was the sheer different directions people are coming and going from. That's what made me nervous, but I'll go 16. What's yours?
Wow. I'm going to say like 10. I'm bringing I'm not bringing a clipboard though.
I'm lame and silly for bringing a clipboard, but you would still bring a clipboard at 10.
I'm saying I'm not even I'm saying 10 is my cap. And then I'm saying I'm not bringing a clipboard. I'm not going to deal with it. I feel like that's immediately more stress for you. And you're already like trying to, probably like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to organize all this stuff, right?
It wasn't. I'm probably sounding that way, but all the people that went were super amazing and awesome. So whatever the stuff I had to deal with was well worth it. I just found it interesting.
It is interesting. Okay.
That's kind of the.
Normally when you go on like a Patreon trip, the people are phenomenal. They're great. I think it's the logistical nightmare of like, if you felt like you have to keep track of all these people constantly, that's kind of ridiculous.
The issue was that it was local to so many folks. So some people that couldn't quite make the whole thing, they didn't want to miss out. And so they were trying to duck out as much as they could, which means that they really valued the community and valued wanting to come, which I really appreciate. So it was worth the effort for sure. I just thought it was crazy how like kind of when I broke down the stats at the end, how it worked out. But
Yeah.
all right, let's talk about the trip planning. So
Okay.
I took on the trip planning. I'm going to their local area. I've never been there before. Most of the folks that were going not only had been there, but it was kind of their stomping grounds. And so I'm planning the trip. And so I'm leaning
Nice.
on folks trying to get intel. Like I'm telling you, it feels weird that I'm planning this trip when you guys know where you're going and I don't. But that's how it worked out.
We just did this in Canada, and you were like, I'm not going to do that again. And then you did it again.
Well, not the same way. I definitely, first of all, there was a map of the area and there was not a map of the area in Canada. So that was part of it.
Okay.
And then there was a lot more information in Red River Gorge than the area we're going in Canada. So I knew that they were actual trails and not just climbing up the side of the mountain. So there was that.
That helps. That helps.
And honestly, that's why I said, hey, I'm asking people for the intel. I'm getting as much information as possible. But here, I'll tell you what the challenge was, and then you tell me how you'd handle this. So there were things like we're going to meet at a certain parking lot. I think it's called like Bison Way parking lot.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, is this a great place? Is this a good place to meet? And some person said, this is the best place to meet. One person said, the parking lot's really small. It gets crowded really fast. There's probably not going to be enough parking spots. One person said, it's the biggest parking lot. It's the best parking lot. Another person said, like on Friday morning, which is when we met up, there should be plenty of parking. Another person said Friday morning, it's probably going to be full early on. So I got that information. Same thing with like, are there going to be mosquitoes? I was told bring mosquito repellent, bring the Thermacell. I was told treat your clothes with permethrin. And then I was also told it's early in the season. Don't worry about it. So how do you handle the kind of the competing intel?
That sounds like a fun situation. I mean, I guess you could go that route. Did you ever think about calling I don't even want to say this out loud.
The Ranger.
Did you Ranger? Did you go Ranger route? Did you think about calling the Ranger?
I called everybody, man. Everybody.
What'd the Ranger say?
So I was more, so there's like part of our trip, you had to cross the Red River and there's a bridge that got like washed out a couple of years ago and they haven't rebuilt it. So I was constantly trying to gauge whether that was a safe crossing or not, because it's an actual river. So that's what I was calling about. Yeah.
So nothing about the parking lots or the mosquito stuff.
That was the biggest concern. Hey, I'm not going to call like, hey, do you guys have mosquitoes right now? Call the Ranger.
That's so bad. I think, you with mosquitoes. I think people have to know their own situation with mosquitoes, but like,
I don't care about them.
I probably would have like just worn what I normally wear. Honestly, I mean, if I get bit, I
know, but my wife's going, so I cared about them on behalf of other people.
So you gotta be like, have her wear what, like long sleeves pants, and then bring the normal stuff. I mean, like, I
brought the Thermacell, never used it. There weren't mosquitoes. Whoever said there weren't going to be mosquitoes was right.
I think that is, if you're bringing your wife, right, or kids or something, I think you have to bring that stuff. Because otherwise it's going to be 10 times worse of a trip. That's worth the wait. Okay. In my opinion. Yeah. So there's that. And then the parking lot.
Yeah. I don't know. The dice, right?
I mean, I think he just like, I don't know. Could you look at a map and be like, here's a big parking lot. And then what's the closest one next to it? And be like, this is the backup lot. I
tried using the Google Earth and I just couldn't tell.
I would have been like, here's the main lot we're going to try to. If we're not there at this time, then we're gonna try this other lot. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. You really don't know unless you get there.
Right? So. I know. That's why it's funny.
I don't know how anybody can actually give you a decent answer on that. So, unless they're there every week on Friday.
I just rolled the dice and it worked out. That it was like medium-sized parking lot, relatively empty, so it worked out. Anyway, just
ignoring everybody doing it anyway.
A lot of times it doesn't work, so that worked out that one time. But
so
next one.
Okay.
What's that?
So just a note. I mean, you're asking for all that advice, and then you just kind of were like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway and show up.
But I didn't know ahead of time, so I'm wondering what you would have done. This is what I'm asking.
I don't think you can take all that. I think you can take all that input and just kind of like put it over here, because it's like it all cancels each other out, right? It's like either you just do it or you don't.
Right.
If it's full,
I was trying to be better than our Banff trip, so I was trying to lean more and more.
But that's a topic. There's no guarantee on something like that. And you know that, right? It's a Friday in a parking lot. Like that could be anything could happen. It's like,
you're right.
I wouldn't even have asked. I've been like, this is where we're going. Deal with it.
All right. I'll recap the poop story. It's not that impressive of a story, but so the campgrounds are pretty well established, and there's typically they're large, but there's a lot of people that are in the area. And so one of the areas that we were camping in, I think it's called Hanson's Point. They have like kind of like this trail that leads to like the poop zone, essentially, where people go poop.
Poop zone.
Yeah. So before I even tell you what we did,
Okay.
what do you think about that?
So let me just clarify. You're not packing it out.
No,
This is a section that you go to go poop.
it's just kind of like an unspoken pooping area.
That's
Maybe it's spoken. I
sketchy.
don't know.
That sounds
Yeah.
10 times worse than packing it out. Honestly. Number
Why?
one.
Why? What's your line of reason here?
Because number one, it's like a minefield probably out there. Like, I don't know where I'm stepping. I don't know what I'm stepping in. I don't know how big this area really is. And then I'm gonna what? I'm gonna just. Are you just popping a squat? Are you in an open field?
Yeah.
Open field.
Open field.
Okay.
Like we're in a forest. We're in a forest.
So you can grab a tree.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, grab a tree. I guess I don't know what it looks like. So it just seems like landmine central. I mean, does it smell like horrible? There's like poop everywhere.
I don't know because I would not go to the bathroom there. Like for me, I
what
would
did you
rather
do?
go to the bathroom during the day where there's areas that people, aren't typically going. I don't want to go where
Right.
everybody's gone. I don't want to dig at people's stuff.
That's disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't.
Wow.
So that was gross to me, but it didn't bother other people. So what they did was they found like this large bird feather and they stuck it in the ground when somebody was traveling down the trail, so you knew that somebody was down there going to the bathroom. And then you knocked it over when you came back, so you knew that the bathroom was like open.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Feathers in the ground, feather. Okay. All right.
And that worked for our group. But like I said, it was a large area. So there's other people camping nearby that didn't understand the unspoken feather setup. And so that didn't work. Basically.
Like if you were there, like if our group was there, we wouldn't know about the feather setup. Rocky probably would have like stepped on the feather, knocked it over. I would have gone in the poop zone and like been freaked out. And you would have been like, what are you doing in there? Why
you would have said, oh, feather up means somebody's going to the bathroom there. That means for you,
follow them in.
Check things out.
Right. Exactly. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
That would have been weird. So,
okay. All right. So there's that. There's your poop story.
Interesting.
All right. So we had some new folks. We had some people that I already knew, but we had some new folks come along. So I was trying to brainstorm ideas for what to do at camp to kind of break the ice. Everybody was awesome. So we had, people were conversing anyway. So I don't know that we even needed to do this, but in thinking ahead and trying to create a good backpacking trip for everybody, my idea was to do a white elephant backpacking gearbox gift exchange. So everybody had to wrap one piece of gear they don't want from their gearbox under £1, and we did like a white elephant gift exchange where you trade.
That's fun.
You get,
okay, that's fun.
Yeah, what do you think about
that? Yeah, that's like a bonding little fun thing to do. Under £1, you said?
Under £1. So this is basically like gear that you're rejecting, gear you don't want, right?
Yeah, right.
Any predictions on what piece of gear that we've talked about a few times on our show that was rejected by somebody else, not by me, but by somebody else?
Rejected by somebody else.
Yeah, actually, if you can pick one that a piece of gear that anybody brought, I'll be impressed.
Trowel.
Trowel's a good guess. That's your thing. That's my thing. But no.
Bug spray, toilet paper, toothpicks, floss, toothpaste pellets. I don't know what.
Okay, the one that Brian from Ohio brought was the Aqua Clip.
Oh yes, yes, Brian. Yes, I love it.
And I ditched a sit pad, so that was my thing.
Oh, did you? Okay. Did anybody bring a footprint? Nobody brought a footprint.
Oh, did somebody?
That would have been brilliant.
I don't think so. Not for that.
That's not under. Is that under £1? I don't know if that's under £1.
It's probably. I think it's like 12-ish ounce. Depends on your tent, but yeah. All right. So we're in camp, and we're kind. We're like we've got the campfire going. We're kind of hanging out, and some high school kids roll up on our camp. And they look like kind of newish backpackers, maybe a little bit out of their element. They're like, hey, can we have some of your firewood?
Oh, okay.
How do you respond to that one? We're in a forest.
Wow. I'm like, are you guys out of firewood? What's going on here?
They're not out. They haven't gotten any. They have zero.
Can't find any. I think that's just lazy, though. Is that, to me, I would have been like, my first question would have been like, I'm thinking in my head, how lazy are you that you can't go like grab some sticks off the forest floor? Then my words would have come out like, first question, are you guys TikTokers? Are you influencers? Are you able to do anything for yourself? Are you able to brush your teeth? Like, I think it's like, can they do anything for themselves? This is the generation we live with now, like, so
Wow.
I would have been like, you know what? We only got a couple pieces left. Tell you what, though, crazy thought. You're in a forest. There's some wood over there by that forest where all those trees are. Bunch. Check it out. I don't know. Probably better wood.
That's how you talk to high school kids. That's how you win them over.
Well, you got to riz them up. Like, yo, let me riz you up with this. Yo, let me throw this at you. Holla. Go pick up some sticks over yonder. Like you got to, and then I look really dumb.
Okay.
Yeah, as a middle-aged
okay, I'm gonna give you like A+ for judgmentalness right there.
You like that?
They're new backpackers. I told you they're new. They don't know anybody. They don't know.
They can't go look for wood on the ground. I don't care who you are. Everybody knows fire and wood go to. Come on.
All right.
Really?
I want you. I want you.
Did
to
you give them all your
business.
wood? I would have been like, you know what? I don't use firewood. I have dryer lint here as some kindling. You can have some of that. There you go, buddy.
Tinder, technically, just to clarify. But yeah,
whatever.
We just gave him like all of our wood is what we did.
And then you had no wood?
Do that.
Yeah, what'd you do?
No, of course not. We just said, hey, you guys got to look around a little more. Look, just do a little more searching. They'd arrived to camp late. I think their one high school experienced person was like focused on setting up the tent. And he's like, you guys go find some wood. And their solution was to go ask for it, not to actually search for it.
So you gave them the wood and then told them to go look for wood.
We did not give them wood. I was being sarcastic. I'm not giving them wood, dude. Come on, get out of here with that.
So that was my advice. I'm not going to give them wood. Just go look for wood.
But we were nice about it. We were polite. We weren't trying to make them feel like they're the worst people in the world, like you just did.
You're right. I would have been like, "Are you guys slow? Like seriously? Like look on the ground."
Right.
That's what I would have done. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
100%. All right. Let's see. A couple other things from the trip. I think we already shared the story about the Bluetooth horse crew that plowed through our camp on night 2. I don't think I need to do that. Speaking of firewood, this wasn't a big deal, but we were approaching camp 2 and we were still about a mile out. And a guy was like, hey, there's literally no firewood at the next camp. It is pit clean. So as you hike there, you're going to want to carry all your firewood with you. And of course, when you get that sort of trail intel, you know that it's probably nonsense. And so we get to camp 2 and there's firewood everywhere.
Nice.
So would you have gone back and had a chat with that guy?
So tempting. How far are we talking? A couple miles?
Yeah, like 3/4 of a mile, probably. Mile and a half round trip.
No, I'm not going to do that. It'd be so
tempting to do just based on your attitude towards the high school kids, I think you'd be excited to be running back there to tell them.
Yeah, high school kids are going to run back 100%. Like 2 miles, I go back for that. Yeah. I'm like, you kids have no idea what you're doing out here.
How often do you use the phrase kids these days? Use that a lot?
Kids. I usually use the word whippersnappers, actually. Yeah. So it's more, I feel like culturally appropriate.
Right.
Youngsters.
Okay.
Or like in my high school, I hated this phrase. My high school principal always used to say, young people. You young people. Dude, that one just like gave me cringy feelings every time he said it.
I won't say that.
Oh, young people.
Actually, I probably will. All right. So last one is I brought the bocce ball set for night 2 for more icebreaker action. And I wish I could take credit for that one for bringing it because I did carry it. But I really, Tupperware Mike was the one that made that one fun. So I'm going to tell you some things he did to mix up the bocce ball thing. You tell me you like it, you don't like it, because you're like a different style bocce ball player. Like you're willing to ruin friendships over bocce ball. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I want to know, did Mike start bringing the bocce ball set because I brought it on the first Patreon trip? Did I inspire him? And when you say
did Mike bring it, do you mean did I bring it, which I just literally said?
Or did you? Oh, you brought it. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Scratch that, Mike. Scratch that. You bring the Tupperware. I apologize. Well, I know you bought it because I bought it, so that's fine. I inspired you. That's good enough. You did
lose a friend over bocce ball, though, right? Let's be honest here.
Or did they lose me? Did they lose me? Is the question.
Might have been.
I may have. No, I don't think it was anything worth losing a friendship over. It got escalated, but I think I tried to remedy it, but they weren't having it.
I think we've talked about this in a previous episode, so we won't go down this rabbit hole. But here's what Mike did that kind of upped the game, made it a little bit different. So, you can throw the bocce ball. For those who don't know, you throw a white ball, then you got to throw colored balls and try to get as close as possible for points. And so, like where you throw it, what you bounce it off of, how you throw it is all kind of part of the fun. But then Mike started saying, okay, I want you to throw it, and I want you to make a Sasquatch sound as you're throwing it.
Okay, so we're doing noises now.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Or
So
yell something.
If your Sasquatch noise is subpar, does that throw not count?
I think you just get made fun of at that point.
That's worth it. Okay.
Well, what's your Sasquatch noise if you had to play?
I don't know. It's really in the moment. I can't do it on call. Sorry. I got to be in the moment. I got to be in the forest. I got to feel the nature, you know?
Wow. It's tough to do a podcast with a fun hater, folks. I
You know?
apologize on behalf of Derek. There's mine.
That would have been made fun of constantly. Did you actually win bocce ball? You're usually pretty good.
I'm hit or miss.
Third
literally,
place?
but I did not win. I was terrible.
Oh, really?
It was let's see, it was Whitney's son that won.
Nice.
Whitney, one of our wonderful Patreon supporters. He did it with like multiple people in one. He might have gone pro afterwards, I think, actually.
I'm not surprised. Surprised.
So
wow.
Anyway, those are the ones we didn't hit from the backpacking podcast. Those are things that I think are strange but true, tales from Red River Gorge. And in the end, we had some other, fun things that happened. We had that major river crossing. Everybody made it. Yeah. I took a pretty big spill on the mud.
Nice.
Toughed it out. Like you and I like the same thing. That to me, that was like the best part was crossing the river, getting thigh deep in the river and just trying to, having to cross it. But all in all, like awesome people. We're going to have our next Patreon trip is in the Trinity Alps in remote Northern California. And I just posted on that on Patreon, and I did cap this one. I capped it at 12, thinking 10 would go because of the cancellations, and we already have 12 sign up. It was like boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom.
Crazy.
You're just that great, buddy. You're that great. You know?
Stop it. Stop it. People are excited. Mike's hosting. People are excited.
Guys, you're going with Carl the Mandrioli. I mean, I don't know what else. That's all I really need to say. I mean, it's top notch. Is that legend?
Based on this episode, I think clearly not, right?
I mean, when you can get SAR called and you almost fall down a waterfall and have to get helicoptered out, this is the guy you want to spend your time with because there's something's going to happen. Something will happen.
It's going to happen
every time.
That is true.
And it does.
That is true.
It does.
Yeah, it does every time. Hey, speaking of SAR, search and rescue, I did finally. This took forever, man. I've been trying for years. I lined up an interview with a Yosemite search and rescue person, like somebody who actually is like high up, trains other search and rescue operators.
Get your questions ready.
Yeah,
we should have the. I was going to say we should have some people send in questions they want to know, and we could filter through and be like, "Are there any good ones that we're not thinking?"
No, you're not on the same page. I already did it. I posted on Patreon what questions you have. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. But anyway, I got a quick review. I think this is our last review for a while in our review series. Something a little bit different. All right, so here's what I got for this week. We've got something called the Super Feet.
Ooh.
Are you familiar with this?
No, I have not seen these. Tell me about it.
Oh, these have been out forever, man. Recommended by physical therapists.
I don't have foot problems like you, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've used these before, kind of more probably in my younger years where my foot problems weren't quite as bad as they have been recently. And my wife uses them. So if you're somebody who's looking for more stability in your shoe, if you struggle with like foot fatigue, if you want to stabilize your foot, it can help with minor foot pain. You can take those removable insoles out of your shoes, those flimsy things, take them out and insert these guys in. And they might provide quite a bit of relief. They're moisture wicking, so it reduces something that Derek really struggles with called stink foot.
Foot, right?
Your shoes won't be as stinky as Derek's are. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And so just something to think about. And it can be found, I think, at most like shoe stores, outdoor stores, all that.
What are they called again? One more time.
Super Feet.
Super Feet.
I'll have the link in the show description. Yeah.
What a great name. Super Feet.
Super Feet. I mean, there's definitely, you like some Dr. Scholl's and other insoles in there. These ones they make them specifically for some of the versions they make specifically for hiking. Downside is I think right now, as we're recording this, they're on sale in like the $40 range, but they can be upwards of $55 a pair. And this is not just like shoving your shoe. Like you're looking to solve a problem because you're going to be adding weight to your shoes, which, as you know, like that can really fatigue the rest of your body. So I tried looking up how many ounces they were, and they don't. Like no matter which side I looked at, they didn't have the tech specs on that. So I'm guessing it's in like the 2-ounce range per foot. So just kind of keep that in mind. So, but if you're looking to kind of fix some of these like foot fatigue problems, this is possibly a solution.
Nice.
So you've no foot problems ever?
No, I feel good.
You've never had a foot problem?
No.
Incorrect.
Sorry.
Blisters.
Sorry.
Incorrect.
That's not a problem. That's a temporary experience that was remedied quickly.
On the Red Peak Pass trip, if I was like, "Hey, are you having some blister problems?" You'd be like, "Not a problem."
I'm thinking when you say I have a foot problem, it's like an ongoing problem on and off the trail.
Oh, I see.
I don't have that. I did. Okay. I will say I did have one. We were in Olympic National, and for the first time ever, maybe it was because I had newisher shoes. I don't know. I had like the Achilles issue.
That's terrible.
It was burning, and Jared gave me some Tiger Balm. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. That got me through. So, but other than that, never had a problem. Thankfully,
I'm gonna still say incorrect on that one. I think stinkfoot's still a problem.
Is it? I haven't heard any complaints in the tent, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. And I have my well, I have my
in the sleeping bag. What are you talking about?
They're not in the sleeping bag the whole time. While we're playing games. Why not? Because they don't smell bad. That's why not. You just thank you for helping me out. Appreciate it.
All right. So Red River Gorge, for those who don't know, is in Kentucky. We've got Kentucky trivia coming up right after this.
Nice.
Okay, 3 Kentucky-based questions. You are winning trivia. I have one more loss than you. We got a few episodes left. I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie. Yeah, this one, I feel like these questions are reasonable.
I think you're gonna try to make me lose. I
I could do much worse. I could just do no multiple choice. But here we go.
All
right. Number 1, the shape of Kentucky. The state of Kentucky kind of looks like 2 different things that make it easy to remember where it is in the map. Can you name either of those things that it looks like?
This is no. There's
if you want to look it up,
there's no multiple choice.
Just look at it. It just literally looks like something that's Kentucky-ish that helps you remember where it is in the map. So if you want to look it up on a map right now, I'll let you do that.
Look at Kentucky on a map. All right.
Yeah. What does it kind of look like? 2 things.
Hang on.
You should have learned about this in like geography class when you're trying to learn all the states.
Looks like a chicken wing, chicken drumstick, I guess. I don't know. Let me see.
Okay.
On a map. Look at Kentucky. I mean, if you're saying it surrounded it, I mean, it looks like a drumstick, kind of.
Okay, so how would that relate to Kentucky? How would that make you remember that it's Kentucky?
Kentucky Fried Chicken, baby.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay, look at it again. If you look, it kind of looks like a horse face too for the Kentucky Derby.
Horse face for the Kentucky Derby. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
That's why
somebody was feeling something when they guessed that. Okay.
Number 2.
1 for 1.
All of these famous people are from Kentucky except one.
Oh,
which one? A. Johnny Depp. B. Muhammad Ali. C. Jennifer Lawrence. D. James Earl Jones.
I know. I want to say it's. Okay. I'm pretty sure Jennifer Lawrence is. I think James Earl Jones is. What is Johnny Depp and who?
Jennifer Lawrence and Muhammad Ali.
Oh boy. It's gotta be Ali or Depp. I'm gonna say no. I think Depp was Kentucky. Pretty sure Lawrence was Kentucky. I'm gonna say it was Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali is incorrect.
No!
The Louisville Airport is called Muhammad Ali Airport. So
I don't know. I don't go over there.
What
was the fourth one? It was the fourth one.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah. Nope. Darth Vader. He's from the Empire. All right. Number 3. Which famous long trail goes through Kentucky out of these 4? This has been discussed multiple times on our podcast.
Okay.
A. Sheltowee Trace. B. Pacific Northwest. C. Red River Trail. Or D. Divide Trail.
Let's see. We have the same again one more time. We have the Divide Trail.
Sheltowee Trace. Pacific
Shell toy?
Northwest.
Oh,
Yep.
the shell toy. Okay.
Pacific
Okay.
Northwest.
Pacific
Red
Northwest.
River Trail. Divide Trail.
Red River Trail. Um,
This is big time right now. I'm nervous
I
for
don't
you.
think it's Red River. I think you threw that in there. I don't think it's Pacific Northwest. Divide Trail. It's got to be the first one. Shellity. Shellatow. Shellity. Shellity.
How do you pronounce it?
You got it.
Sheltoe?
Sheltoe. That's it.
Sheltoe
it?
Trace? That is correct.
Yes. Well, the other three didn't really make sense. The other three don't really make sense.
Well done.
Are you bummed? You thought I missed that one, huh? You thought I missed that one.
No, I thought that was an easy one because we talked about it a bunch.
That's gotta bother you.
No. I thought you missed the first one, to be honest. But that's okay. You did good, man. You earned it.
That was okay.
All right.
That was a weird question.
What was?
Your
Kentucky?
chicken wing thing. I've never heard anybody ask that. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I taught it. Was like when we learned, we used to have to like teach the kids to memorize the states, and so I always had these little tricks for each of the states so they would remember them, and that worked for them. So
you said horse face or chicken drumstick?
Yeah, chicken drum, correct. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay,
tidbits.
We've got Ben H from Pennsylvania just recently joined our Patreon family. Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we so appreciate it. He was one of the folks that kind of joined the Strava community where I am, I started my summer training, and each of my training sessions that I'm logging on Strava is a prayer for folks that are on there with me. And so that's where we connect. I think he was part of our live stream as well. Yeah, he was part of our live stream. And anyway, so here's the cool thing that he does is he actually takes high school kids out hiking on the weekends, and he's planning on doing like multi-day hikes this upcoming summer. This is something that I've actually wanted to do, but we have, at least here in Colorado, or at least the school district that I'm in, has a lot of red tape where it's just like, it's just, you'd have to have like an administrator along. It's just, it's a big deal.
Whole thing. Yeah.
So whatever setup he's got there, he is blessed in that area. He's using it to dig into kids' personal lives, and he really kind of got back into the kind of the outdoor scene during COVID. And I think he went on like an overnight 10-mile trip and packed way too much. He's been figuring it out to the point where just a few years later, now he's a major leader leading kids out in the wilderness. So well done. And it's an honor to have you as part of the Patreon family. So thank you. We hope that all the extra content is worth your while. And we got, what do we have? Like 50 plus bonus episodes on there now, bonus segments, all sorts of stuff. So
nice.
That's all I got, my friend.
That's all I got, guys. Thanks for hearing us rant. Thanks for hearing us spread your love. Wait, what am I saying? Thanks you for let's cut this out. Sidebar. Just cut that out. Cut that all out. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with us. Check us out on the social media handles. I hope you enjoyed the Red River Gorge episode. Social media influencers and young people, if you need firewood, don't ask Carl for it. He won't give it to you. Go look at the
You're the mean guy.